Welcome once again to this great channel at Speakball Tutorial, and our hashtag, you don't need to be a scholar to get an A. You're all welcome to our topic, coordinate geometry. Coordinate geometry is the name of a course called Math 112. So now, starting with the part 1 of coordinate geometry, in this part 1 we are going to be looking at the distance between 2 points. We are also going to be looking at the slope of a straight line, and we are also going to be looking at the midpoint in a straight line. Now, starting with the distance between 2 points. Also, if you have covered all these, you can as well move to part 2 straight away. But if you have not, join me in learning. Now, if the coordinates of 2 points P and Q are x1, y1 and x2, y2 respectively, then the distance between points P and Q is given by this. This is the formula for calculating the distance between 2 points. Now, what does that mean? Now, this is a Cartesian plane. This picture shows a Cartesian plane. Cartesian plane is just a graph showing our y-axis and our x-axis and points plotted on this y-axis and x-axis. As we know, the upside is called our positive y-axis, the right side is called our positive x-axis, the left x side is called our negative x-axis, and the down side is called our negative y-axis. So assuming I have points 7 to 8 and I have 3 to 2. Now, and I join my point in such a way like this, the distance from this point to this point in units can be calculated using this formula. Is that okay? And the formula states x2 minus x1 squared and so on and so forth. Now let's solve some questions under this. Look at this beautiful question. It says 2 points A and B have their coordinates to be this. Find the distance between A and B. Now we know that if we have A equals minus 1,5, B equals 7, minus 3, and we have our formula like this, we know that the first coordinate is our x1, y1, and the second coordinate is our x2, y2. Is that okay? So what we just do, just put the values of our x and y into this formula. Now our x2 is 7, that's why we have 7 here. Our x1 is minus 1. When you have minus, this minus comes from this minus. Is that okay? And x1 is actually minus 1, so we have to put it in bracket to differentiate that. Then everything raised to the power of 2 plus y2 is minus 3. y1 is 5. So we have minus 3 minus 5. Now minus will give us plus. Then minus 3 minus 5 will give us minus 8. 7 plus 1 will give us 8, and we have 8 squared plus minus 8 squared. 8 squared is 64. Minus 8 squared is also 64. Why? Because we have minus 8 times minus 8. Minus times minus will give us plus. 8 times 8 will give us 64. So 64 plus 64 will give us 128. Using our swords to solve this, we resolve this to give 2 times 64. Now, if you have 2 times 64, it can also be represented like this. So it can also be represented like 2 times root of 64. And the root of 64 is 8. So we have root 2 times 8. 8 times root 2 will give us 8 root 2. That's why we have 8 root 2 units. Very, very simple. Let's move on. Look at this beautiful second question. It says find the distance between 2 points x and y whose coordinates are minus 4, 5 and minus 3, 2. Same way, you just know that your minus 4, 5 is our x1, y1, and minus 3, 2 is our x2, y2. Then put our numbers into the formula. x2 is 2, x1 is 5, that's why we have 2 minus 5 here. y2 is minus 3, y1 is minus 4, so we'll put it in bracket to differentiate it. Is that okay? 2 minus 5 will give us minus 3, minus will give us plus, so minus 3 plus 4 will give us +1, not -1. So this is a mistake. Will give us +1. So -3 squared will give us 9, -1 squared will give us 1. 9 plus 1 will give us 10. That is √10 units. Is that okay? I believe with these simple examples, we have been able to grasp the basics of distance between 2 points. And let's move on to our next topic, which is midpoint of 2 points on a straight line. Now, having a straight line made by 2 points, -3,5 and 8, -1. The midpoint is just the middle, the coordinates of the middle between this point and this point. That's just it. And this is the formula used in finding that. Is that okay? The formula is x2 plus x1 over 2, y2 plus y1 over 2. Let's solve some examples to see this. Now, this first example says 2 points P and Q have their coordinate to be this. Find the coordinate of the midpoint PQ. PQ means line PQ. Is that okay? This stuff here means line PQ. So we are looking for the midpoint of that. The first thing is to know that -4, -3 is x1, y1, and -2, -3 is x2, y2. Then we just put this into our formula. What is x2? Our x2 is -2. That's why we have -2 here. Our x1 is -4. And you know this plus, so it will be plus. To be plus minus will give us minus. That's -4, right? Our y2 is -3. That's why we have -3 here. And our y1 is -3. Plus minus will give us minus. That's why we have -3 here. So -2 -4 will give us -6. -3 will give us -6. So -6 divided by 2 will give us -3. -6 divided by 2 will also give us -3. So the coordinate of our midpoint between line PQ is -3, -3. Is that okay? Okay. Let's move on to the second question. The second question says a triangle has vertex. Vertex means the end point of the triangle. If I have a triangle of this form, this is a vertex, this is a vertex, and this is a vertex. Is that okay? So now it says the triangle has vertices P, dot, and so on, and PQR with their points. Find the midpoint of PQ and QR. Finding the midpoint of PQ is very simple. What we just do is we just assume this is our x1, our y1, our x2, and y2. And putting that into our formula, our x2 is -3, our x1 is -1. So using these in our formula, we have plus minus will give us minus. That's why we have -1 here. Same thing here, we have my y2 is -4, y1 is 6. So that's why we have -4 plus 6 there. So -3 -1 will give us -4. -4 plus 6 will give us +2. -4 divided by 2 will give us -2. 2 divided by 2 will give us 1. And this is the coordinate of the midpoint of line PQ. Now the coordinate of the midpoint of QR can be calculated using the same formula but using different coordinates. That's the coordinate of Q and R, where this is our x1, this is our x2, these are x1, these are y1, these are x2, these are y2. Then we'll put this into our formula. Our x2 is 1. Our x1 is -3. So in this case, we have plus minus. Is that okay? Yes. Plus minus. Then our y2 is -4. That's why we have -4 here. And our y1 is -4. So we have plus minus here. So plus minus will give us 1 minus 3. And 1 minus 3 will give us -2. Plus minus here will give us -4 minus 4. -4 minus 4 will give us -8. So -2 divided by 2 will give us -1. -8 divided by 2 will give us -4. And voila, we've gotten the midpoint of line QR. Very, very simple. Okay, I believe you understand. Let's move on to the last topic or subtopic we'll be treating under the part 1, which is the slope of a straight line. As we've been taught in secondary school, the slope of a straight line is simply the gradient of that line. And the gradient of a line can be calculated by by this simple formula, which says the increase in y divided by the increase in x. What is the increase in y? Increase in y simply means change in y. Change in y over change in x. And change in y, change in anything means the final minus the initial. So in this case, the final is y2, the initial is y1. That's y2 minus y1. And change in x also is x2 minus x1. This is the formula for calculating the gradient of a line or the slope of a straight line. Is that okay? Now, let's look at this first example, which says find the gradient of the straight line making angle 60 degrees with the positive side of the x-axis. To solve this question, we simply use this simple formula, which says gradient equals to tan theta. Whenever you have a question of this form, the formula you're using is gradient equals to tan theta. And in this case, our angle is 60 degrees, so we just put, instead of theta, we put 60 degrees. So tan 60 degrees will give us root 3. And that is it. The second question says 2 points have their coordinates to be -2, -3, and -4, 5 respectively. Find the gradient of the line joining 2 points. Our points are P and Q, which we know this to be x1, y1, and this to be x2, y2. Then we just put the values into our formula, which is y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And our y2 is 5, our y1 is what? Is -3. Our x2 is -4, our x1 is what? Is -2. Minus minus will give us plus, so 5 plus 3 will give us 8, minus minus will give us plus, -4 plus 2 will give us -2. 8 divided by -2 will give us -4, and that is it. Our gradient is what? Is equals to what? Is -4. And this brings us to the end of part 1. I hope you have understood everything that has been said. These are some questions to enable you guys practice more and get more understanding. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to like and comment, and also subscribe to the channel for more videos. Tune in for the part 2 of coordinate geometry. Thank you.